Let's go. Let's go. Happy Wednesday. Sorry, I just got distracted with something right before stream, of course. But let me just double check. Yeah. Okay, just making sure notifications are off. And am I unmuted? Unmuted. And I think everything's going on. I got this new YouTube studio thing I'm looking at. I'm looking at it right now, Mark. Oh wait, it's delayed. So, weird. I'm just trying to see if it shows up, if any kind of closed captioning shows up. So yeah, I found this switch to turn on. I don't know. It said closed captioning, even asked me if I wanted to have a delay to the closed captioning. I don't know. So it's showing me right now. I'm still in trailers right now for Mission Comics. So I'm just waiting for it to get to a point where I'm talking. Oh, I just saw in your chat. In the chat says CC is working. No kidding. Let's see. I want to see if it shows up. I don't see it. Or maybe I have to turn it on. Do I have to turn on CC on my side? Let's see. Okay. It says auto-generated. Whoa, that's weird. It worked. We did it, Mark. Oh my gosh, it's weird. Now this is weird. This is kind of creepy. This is going to be very distracting. But cool. I'm glad it worked. All right. Nice. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to My Wednesday Comics. So glad all of you are here. And I'm so glad, hey, closed captioning is working now. So now if I say, Awesome One says, speak in Tagalog and see if closed caption. So first of all, Awesome One, it's Tagalog, Tagalog, Tagalog. I wonder if that'll pick up in closed captioning, Tagalog. So that's one. And two, I don't know how to speak in Tagalog. I'm one of those pathetic American-born Filipinos who cannot speak Tagalog. I can kind of understand it, depending on the dialect, because it is different in different regions of the Philippines, and my parents are from two different regions. And so what I grew up of knowing Tagalog, and they would just speak it very infrequently, actually. They would speak, we spoke English at home, which is a big reason why I didn't learn it to be fluent in Tagalog. But when they did speak, like to relatives or to each other, I found out much later in life that it was a amalgam of their two dialects. So some words that I thought were the universal Tagalog word for a certain thing, other Filipinos that I would meet, they're like, what are you talking about? So it really confused me. Ended up not speaking it at all. And so, yeah, I'm just a dumb American that only speaks English, sometimes improperly. But hey, I see it. I see the closed captioning is saying Tagalog. It's picking it up. Wow, that is weird. This is really weird. We're stepping into the new reality, the new artificial reality of live closed captioning. So anyway, I'm so glad that it worked. And that's all for you, Mark's Music Obsession. It just actually was the proper sequencing of doing it, flipping that switch before I hit go live, because you can't do it in the middle of streaming. So that's what I found out, and it worked, and I'm so happy. So glad to see you first in the chat, Mark's Music Obsession. Right after, Comrade Sammy just slid in right after. Hang on. Comrade Sammy slid in right after the chat ninja. So I hit, when I hit, I'm gonna stream, and then I can tell it what time I want to start the stream. So it's like a scheduled stream is what it's called. And it seems like, I don't know if those notifications go out, the scheduled stream. I've received scheduled stream notifications from other YouTubers before. but I didn't see anybody in the chat when that scheduled stream was still going on. It wasn't live yet, but it was saying, "Oh, stream scheduled in whatever 10 minutes." And then so I was like, "Oh, is anybody going to show up?" But then the second I hit go live, boom, you guys started showing up. So it seems like that notification is stronger, goes out more than the scheduled one. I don't know. But Comrade Sammy was right there, right after. And then super, hang on a second. Sorry, just had to tell family members to turn down their volume because I could hear them. Right after that, Awesome One's here with a big oh no. Oh no. Why oh no? This is good. This is good stuff. To be honest, I wasn't even sure what. Wow, my hair. I wasn't even sure what I was going to pick up today. I thought it was going to be a pretty thin week based on what I saw was coming out. But I, for good or bad, stumbled into the back issue rack at Amazing Fantasy today, and I found a lot of stuff. And so I'm really excited actually to show those things because they're, it's not what you're regularly going to see in like what the current comics are coming out. But there's some good stuff. Like Frank just told me that he just put these out and he labeled them with like who the artists were inside. And so that was great for someone like myself. I'll show you guys in a second. For someone like myself, it's like, oh, so-and-so is the artist inside. Like you don't have to guess. And so I found quite a few really good back issues that he had. So that's awesome. That's always a great thing. And that's one of the main reasons why I love to go to a physical store as opposed to buying comics online or digitally, because the things that you discover that you aren't even really looking for are priceless. Wow. Excuse me. Emo Trash B here. What's up, Emo Trash? How are you? Mark's Music Obsession says, got notification from X, actually, which is great. Cool. X is helping me out here on the side. And this man is here, Alan Lau. So the funny thing is, Alan and I are actually working on something together. And I was like, dude, my day's a little chopped up. And it really is. I got a lot of things going on. But now he's seeing me stream and he's like, yeah, sure, right. Whoops. No, it's all good. It's good. I'm glad you're here, Alan. Hope you're working while you're listening. That would be hilarious. Let's see. Emo Trash saying hello. Hello, everybody. All talking, welcoming one another. That's how I like it. Awesome One. No zoo. Not today. I did go to the zoo yesterday. Excuse me, not to live stream, but to meet a friend there and eat lunch. And that's what I love about the zoo being so close to where I live, because I can just pop in there, grab lunch. They have a decent cafe, and then we just walk around and talk. And I was sketching a little bit, but it was mostly just hanging out with this friend. So the weather here has been absolutely gorgeous, but it is getting hot. And for the climate wimps that we are here in the Bay Area, it's creeping up to the like 70s, high 70s. And we're all like, whoa, it's too hot. We don't have air conditioning. Nobody has air conditioning in their homes here because it never gets that hot normally. So yeah, we're climate wimps. But it is, we're supposed to have a heat wave here. I know it's nothing compared to what you're going through, Mark, or in your area, or Awesome One, or any of you guys. I think a lot of you guys are experiencing extreme temperatures right now, but it is beautiful. It's gorgeous outside, and so it's really fun to go to the zoo, go to the comic book store. Makes me want to like step outside a lot more than I normally would if it was foggy. Mark's Music Obsession says CC is working, which is awesome. Working great. Awesome One said your mom is muted, possibly. I thought you were holding back on your mom jokes. Awesome One. Oh, and let's see. Mark's Music says, I think it puts in a delay so that it works correctly. It's perfect. Great. I'm so glad to hear that. Check this out. This one's for you, Mark's Music Obsession. There we go. I actually combined a couple things. I made you a sound effect. It's that vacuum tube like amp starting from Meatballs that you were talking about. And I also like clipped it together with I'm pretty sure the sequence in Back to the Future where the opening sequence where Marty is like waking up and turning on his guitar. I'm pretty sure it was influenced by Meatballs because just watching those back to back, they're really similar. So, but the cool thing I loved about that one is like he hits his guitar and like, the speaker blows him back. So I clipped it together. But here you go, Mark's Music Session. I was working on this a little bit for you. There you go. There you go. There's your sound effect. Comrade Sammy. And awesome one. I have not done yours yet. Emo Trash, not yours yet either. So we're working on these things. But slowly but surely, we will get to you all of my loyal chatters. Okay, I know I'm way behind here on the chat, so hang on a sec. The new age, the new age of live closed captioning. My mother thanks you. She can follow along now. Yay! Hello, Mark's Music Obsession's mom. So glad that you can read the closed captioning and understand what we're saying. It's all going to still be ridiculous conversation, but at least you won't have to ask Mark what we're saying. Maybe it's better if we turn off the closed captioning sometimes for you, but no, it's all good. We're glad that you can enjoy this with your son. It's really fun. That a Yoo-Hoo chocolate drink? Nope, it is a fruit fart, as I lovingly like to call it. Not lovingly, but this is my sponsor. No, I don't have a sponsor. Yeah, I don't know. I've never really... It's so funny. I used to hate these because that's why I called them fruit farts, because it was always that like bitter sparkling water aftertaste, just a little bit of fruit taste, no matter what flavor. But sometimes when you just want a little flavor, want to drink it, we happen to have a bunch in our fridge because we've had various get-togethers or people over at our house and nobody drinks them. And so we have a lot left over, and I'll just like, if I need a little bit of a hit of no calories, no sugar, and just a little taste, I'll pull it out. But no, it's not a Yoo-Hoo. Tell your mom we say hi, MMO. Hello, MMO, MOM. We love you. We are happy that you're here. She's reading the chat as well. That's awesome. Good on her for like being down with the technology. That's amazing. Let's see. Awesome one says he was watching That Park Place's new That Game Place channel. Wow, that's a mouthful of a stream title, but we'll have to check that out. We'll have to look at that. MMO mom, hashtag wow mom, Zoo Pass. We looking up different kinds of local snake species in a Google tab because of the conversation I'm having with John. Should probably get him here. Yeah, wait, John's not here, but he's actively responding to your conversation. Tell him I'm totally offended. Do they serve bugs for lunch? No, they don't. Although I did have a former coworker who was totally convinced that in crickets, as like the new protein, it was not good. And so he would order this like organic cricket flour, and then he would bake things out of it and try and make us eat it. They had different flavors and it was gross. And I refused to try anything that had crickets in it. So, but no, fortunately the zoo does not serve bugs for lunch. They have, your regular like fare that you would expect from a zoo, but it's good. It's not super expensive, and it's decent portions, so it's good. Knew it. John is Emo's uncle. Emo Tress says, "Hi 70s, sweetheart." I know. It's kind of embarrassing to admit that, but it is hot. It does feel really hot. Like when we have to when we don't go out with layers on, Alan can attest to this. Alan lives here too. When we don't go out without layers on, that's like a big deal. And so I walked out of the house today without a jacket in the car, without a sweatshirt in the car, and it was like, wow, it's really hot. He ain't. LMAO, at least as far as I know. LOL, maybe we're distant cousins down the line somewhere, and nothing would surprise with John. Nice. I just got to the point in the chat where Mark heard the sound effect. We'll do it again for you, Mark. I don't even know if I've noticed when I rewatch some of my other streams that does it sound echoey to you guys? Because I have a feeling that the sound effect is looping into my patch for my mic. So I got to figure that out, because it did give a weird, I definitely heard it in Cranberry Langer's sound effect, which if he's here, I'll play that one. I could barely tell on Comrade Sammy's. That's kind of hard to hear if that has an echo in it. But let me know, Mark, if you can hear an echo on that. Welcome to the Soundbite Gang, MMO. Nice. Now Rocky can do nonstop mom jokes. Or can't, because Mark's mom is listening. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to eat a cough drop. I wasn't coughing before this started, and maybe I'm allergic to the chat. You're Asian, they love tasteless sodas. That's not true. I recently had, it's a soda called Milkis, Milkis, and it's like a yogurt drink from Korea, and it's really good, and it's super sweet, so try that out. There we go. John is here. John, guess what?
He goes, what's your name? He goes, John.
There you go, John. I got you, man. I worked on both you and Mark's Music Obsessions sound for this week. So there you go. I'll play that again.
He goes, what's your name? He goes, John.
That comes from the great John Mulaney, the comedian John Mulaney. He had a funny bit on being named John that I just recently heard, and I was like, oh, maybe I could use that for a clip. There he is. John's catching up 5 minutes out. Maybe he hasn't heard that clip yet. We'll give him a second. John's here. All is well. Emo Snake Rancher. You're one to talk, awesome one. Although you were here early for sure. I think John's perfect timing. Now if I can convince Shanth to add the close, at least I know how to tell him what to do. So yeah, I'll mention to him. I was just texting him last night. We were reminiscing a little bit about college and kind of some funny memories from college. But now that I know how to do it, I'll definitely pass the information on to him, because that would be cool. And I know you're a regular on his streams. All right, let's see. John, did I miss anyone? Awesome One says it's because crickets don't fart methane to raise the climate change and all. Something, yeah, something like that. I don't know. But if we end up having to eat crickets as our main protein, I just say end it now. I couldn't even imagine cutting out dairy out of my diet, or definitely not gluten, or nuts or anything like that. So you think I'm kidding me? Taking out red meat? Forget it. Always be laying in the Bay Area. There we go. I've heard a great tip was when I first moved here, somebody told me that living in the Bay Area is like living through 4 seasons in one day. So you got to prepare. That's how you got to dress to live in 4 seasons one day. And it's kind of true. It's really weird. It's weird, crazy. No echo on this end on mine. Okay, good. Cool. That's awesome. Because I swear I hear echo, but maybe that's just my setup. I don't know. Awesome one says, what if crickets do fart? That ruins the whole climate, people. Yeah, we'd be dead. Everyone, I caught up. John just heard a sound effect.
Goes, what's your name? He goes, John.
Awesome. True, last week I was 2 hours late, but didn't know it would be at like 12 a.m. 2 hours late. Oh, what are we talking about? Are you talking about being late to the chat? Do not believe the bug hype. Yeah, I won't. Don't worry. I will definitely not believe it. Yeah, I ate an amazing over the past weekend. Went to a really, really great restaurant, and the steak there was perfectly cooked. It was a perfect cut of steak. And I was like, I'm trying to reduce how much red meat I eat just for health and as I get older. But dang, that steak was super good. So that was like, I don't know if I can reduce as much as I should if meat keeps tasting like that. Wonder if snakes are good for a food source. I don't know. I've been watching this. Did I mention this last stream? I've been watching this cooking show with my kids called Next Level, and every now and then they'll throw in like, oh, you got to cook this very unusual meat. And I think one of them was snake one time. There's like ostrich, and it didn't get to the point where it was like disgusting, but yeah, that didn't sound appealing to me. Snake meat. I don't know. Red meat isn't bad for you. I don't know. Tell my cholesterol that. Okay, so I think I caught up, amazingly enough. Okay, I'm getting distracted again with the closed captioning, which is awesome. So, like I mentioned just a little bit earlier, excuse me, I didn't think that I was going to have that much to talk about today or stream about, just because I didn't think a lot was coming out. But beginning of this week, I got a package. So that's the first thing we'll go over or open up. And then I went to the store and got the one book that I thought I was just going to get. And then I ended up running across all these back issues. So we'll go over that. So I ended up having too much to talk about, which that's okay. That works too. So let's get to the unboxing first. I think I know what this is, and I'm pretty excited about this. So let's go. All right, not muted. Overhead cam. Here we go. How are you guys doing? As far as your the week so far, hope things are going well. Oh man, yeah, just a lot of like summer plan stuff going on. It's been crazy. Just trying to get all the schedules to work. Vacations and traveling and relatives and friends and visitors, and it is a lot. But it's great to have Wednesdays to anchor me down. I did when I was went away for the weekend, just for a day or two, and I went to not too far from where we are, like Mill Valley, Marin. It's kind of north of the Bay Bridge. North of the Golden Gate Bridge. And I did discover, where is that? Where did I put that? I don't think I kept it anywhere. I did discover a comic book. That's usually what I do whenever I go to a new place. Yeah, they don't have a stamp here. Is I'll look up on on Google or Yelp. I'll look at comic book shop and see if I can find a local comic book shop. And in this particular case, I did find one. It was called Blue Moon Comics. So I asked the owner just on a whim, because I hadn't planned it or whatever. I asked him, I said, hey, can I, or not the owner, the guy who was working there. And I was like, hey, can I film here? Because I have this YouTube channel and I do these trailers and I like to promote local stores. And he was a little hesitant. He was like, who are you, weirdo? I don't want you to film here. He's like, oh, you got to talk to the owner. But then as I started talking to him, I think he realized like I was fine. I wasn't a crazy person. And he was like, yeah, you should email the owner. He'd probably be okay with it. But yeah, definitely get his permission first. So I'll probably have to go back out there another time to actually do it. But one of the things that I'll talk about later, I got from that store. It wasn't a back issue or anything. It was a book that I couldn't find here locally. They had sold out of their issue 1. So it's fun. And I was talking to him, and the reason why I bring it up is he was just saying, I was like, oh, are there any other stores that I should visit while I'm out here? And he was like, this is the only store between here and like Santa Rosa, which is quite far away. And it just reminded me of like, oh, wow, like I have so many stores here locally. I'm really lucky to have so many stores here locally. And the idea that you just have one comic book store within a huge radius would be kind of sad, you know, because if you can't find a book one place, that's it. That's all you got, or you got to travel really far to find it. So it's kind of cool. But yeah, that place was called Blue Moon Comics. For sure, I'm going to try and if I can find where did I put that business card? I guess I'll look it online. But if I can find it, I will contact that owner. Yep, this is what I thought it was. All right, check this out. Some of you guys might be familiar with this book. Let me switch view here. Let's catch up on the chat really quick. We're talking about snakes. Don't even bother with crickets. Just turn to beans. Yeah, totally. That's what snake. Good point, someone. Red meat isn't bad for you. Next level. What have you done? This is the same combo over here. I don't think we need to turn to snakes. Could do rabbits instead. Guess. Rocky could save some for next Wednesday stream. I guess I could, but then I always hope that like, you know, Wednesday brings its new crop, its new you know, excitement. So I could. Let's see how it goes today. If it ends up going too long, then I'll save some behind. But hey, Adam Goodall, what's up, man? I got to pre-order The Moon is Following Us today. I'm super excited. Oh, that is Daniel Warren Johnson's book, right? I just I've talked about his. First of all, good to see you. And I think that you commented on one of my videos saying that you weren't able to make it live. So it's really great to see you live here. But I have talked about Daniel Warren Johnson's YouTube channel on my stream quite a bit in the past. I love the guy. He's an incredible creator. Seems to be just like a humble, really cool dude. Very like loves what he does, just passionate and just really, really seems like a nice guy. And I've watched many interviews with him and watched his YouTube channel, obviously. But he did recently release a trailer for The Moon is Following Us. And it's great because it's so personal of how he describes coming up with the idea of the book. And he's like walking in the actual like spots might be in Chicago, that inspired him to write the book. And then he's talking about the artist, Riley Rossmo, who he paired up with to do the book. So anyway, that's really cool. That's awesome that you ordered it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing, to picking up that book and seeing what it's all about. Excuse me. Everybody's saying hello to Adam. Let's see. Rabbits are already raised for their skin anyway. At least I'm 100% sure it's skin, but they probably sell the meat too. That's so sad. I like rabbits. They're so cute. One of our good friends used to have a pet rabbit. And when they would go on vacation, I'd take care of it. And it was really cute. Very, very friendly and like kind of affectionate. And he would do all these like cute things when he saw me. So I don't know, thinking about eating rabbits. I don't know if I could do that. But definitely not crickets. Adam says, hello to everyone. Welcome to the circus. That's right. Comrade Sammy is our chat ninja. John got his
Goes,
fountain.
what's your name? He goes, John.
And you'll see Mark's music obsession floating around in the chat. So we had all these fun sound effects. I don't know what happened, why they started, but they're fun. And I got more to work on because there's a lot of people here who deserve a little buzz. So who knows? Maybe Adam, if you stick around long enough, show up long enough, maybe you'll get one too. That's all I got to offer. Weird sound effects. Wait, Rocky is not crazy? Nobody said that, John. I think it's actually the opposite of that. Excuse me. Mr. Monkey Boy 1969, how you doing, man? Thanks for stopping in. Adam Goodall says the only comic book store in my area is over a 60-mile. Oh, man. See, that's a bummer. I mean, you got to do what you got to do if you love comics, for sure. And there are great options to order comics online. Arguably cheaper than going to some stores. But yeah, that's a bummer. I mean, that's kind of how I grew up too. I didn't grow up with neighborhood comic book stores. It was only until I got older, college and after college, that I was in certain cities that I could get to a comic book store nearby. And then where I am now in San Francisco, we have at least 4 to 5 really good stores, and then even some smaller ones. So yeah, I feel really lucky to do that. And that's why I want to support them, support the stores. It was one of the conversations I had with the guy at Blue Moon Comics was just saying, like, you know, it's a tough business to survive and to make work. It really depends on where you are, location, kind of the audience. And so yeah, but at least you can still get comics. John's asking if you're in Alaska. Awesome one says, I think we only have one comic store downtown. Haven't been back to see it. No extra money to buy stuff. Yeah, I remember you mentioning that before. Awesome one says, oh, the John Malin book. The Malin. Yes. Adam Goodall says he's in the Midwest. That is rough. Glad you found ordering to work for you. Adam Goodall says, Daniel Warren Johnson is my favorite creator right now. Ever since I read Murder Falcon, I am all in with whatever he does. So I haven't read Murder Falcon yet. My first exposure to Daniel Warren Johnson was, I mean, he used to do all these like side stories and pinups. And then I read the Wonder Woman that he wrote and drew. Wonder Woman. Oh man, what was that called? I can look it up, or you guys can look it up. But he did a Wonder Woman miniseries that he wrote and drew, which was really cool, kind of post-apocalyptic, taking place in the future. Really great. And then I read, well, actually, then I found out that he was doing, I had heard about Do a Power Bomb, and a lot of people were raving about it, but I was like, I'm not that into wrestlers. I don't know. I was like, it didn't totally connect with me. But then he was attached to the Transformers book. And once I started reading that, I was like, wow, like this is so fun, so exciting. The artwork was amazing. The writing was great. Then I started following him on YouTube. Then I went back and I got Do a Power Bomb, read that, loved it. And I backed his Extremity Artist Edition. I don't know if you heard about that, Adam. His I guess he did a series called Extremity, which I never read, but IDW. Oh no, not IDW. Skybound produced a artist edition and they launched it on Kickstarter of the original scans of the original pages. So I'm really excited about that. And then yeah, now I'm hooked like you are, and he's just one of the best. Really good. Awesome one says, Malin been doing a lot of what appears to be I'm depressed streams. I don't watch many of Malin's streams. Obviously introduced to his work through stuff that's happened through the Comics Gate circles, Shant, all that kind of stuff. But he's a great artist. And then when I saw he was getting a Dale Keown cover, I was like, oh man, I want that one. And so yeah, this is Godlike. I think a lot of people are receiving those now, and I believe, pretty sure, Malin wrote and drew this. Ooh, sorry about the shine. Guessing Malin's just sick of the drama. Malin and I are simpatico that way. Past the cuteness of rabbits, I'm the only one who's seen livestock rabbits. I don't know. I haven't seen livestock rabbits. So, anyway, this is Godlike, his original book. The artwork looks stunning. For those of you who don't know, John Malin got his start, I believe, working with Rob Liefeld and his studio. And I know his work from, he was doing Cable for a while. But yeah, he's a great artist. Really good. These colors are awesome. The print's great. It's like not a super glossy paper. It's actually a little thicker and a little bit more matte. Here are all the check it out. Sean, wow, why did Sean tell me that he did the Godlike logo? I don't think he did. Check that out. My buddy Sean did the Godlike logo. It's cool. Someone says, can't focus on others' failures constantly. It's not healthy. I agree with you there. Always have rabbits at the county fair, even in the same building as the chicken, turkeys, ducks, and geese. Rabbits' hairs will take over your environment left unchecked, but yes, they are cute. Yeah, I think here, at least where I am, they're more like in the cute pet territory, even to the point where people will have them as, what do they call those? Like, what are the pets that, a therapy pet? So I've seen people bring bunnies around as therapy. Like it's a total opposite end of the spectrum of what you're talking about, emo trash. So yeah, it is more of the like cutesy side. These are awesome designs, and the colors are great. Who are the colorist? Colors Ben Smith, and then the colorist is Corey Barton and John Malin. Yeah, really nice. It's like very epic. It's cool. It seems like it's a huge intro to a world building kind of setup here. That's my kind of spread. Yeah, something's going on here. Wow, that's cool. It's got some Kirby vibes to it. Really cool. That's a great angle. Holy moly. It's funny because, you know, from my understanding of Malin, wow, that's cool. Like he worked with Rob and that's, but I almost feel like his artwork feels a little bit more Wildstorm influence than Extreme Studios. Cool, cool. That's neat. I love this cover. Fan of Dale Keown from you guys remember from the last stream. No logo that I can see that Shant designed. Unless it was on that title page. I don't think I saw it. Yeah, I don't see the actual logo. That's funny. Even though Shant designed the logo, it's not here. But that's cool. Cool stuff. Matte cover. Great pit drawing. There you go. Godlike. And from my understanding, there's going to be more than one volume. I'm pretty sure that's not the whole story right there. Comrade Sammy says, oh, by the way, the turtle has fully recovered. Animal Care Center called the other day and told me I could release him back into the wild. So I did. Little guy is back out on his adventures. Wow. Hooray. That took a while, but great. Great for the turtle. Well done, Comrade Sammy. Well done. Katie has a rabbit. She shows on stream some. Oh, she does. Nice. I watched one of her stream. I think she was like crocheting or something like that. My gosh. Just everybody's lives. So crazy. Everybody's congratulating Comrade Sammy, Sammy Turtle Rescue Ranger. Was Rocky about to say drawed? I would have understood it. Did I? That's like a southern thing? I drawed it. Turtle finished his ninja training. That's right. He's going to come back. He's going to come back bigger and badder and a ninja when he's a teenager. That's messed up. Awesome one. I made a post. You did? All right. Wait. Where are we? Comrade Sammy. I'm going to have to see this now. Is it on your community post? Did you? Where did you post it? Tell us so we can see it. Sammy post the community tab. How did I miss it? I'm a subscriber. Extremity is good, but I think you're still finding his leg as a writer. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I don't even know in the order of things when he did that, but I liked his writing on Do a Powerbomb, and you can see how it for sure influenced what he did and what he's doing in Transformers. So yeah, it's great. But I just love his, I can't wait to see his artwork at size and also like without colors and stuff. You coined the name. It's your company now. Congrats. What term? Maybe it's expired. It's set to. Oh, what are you doing? That is a very ninja move, Comrade Sammy. You can't post something with such a great positive story. There's like a story arc. I'm sure you had pictures of the turtle and then have it expire. Come on. That's not fair. If you post it again while I'm still streaming, I will pull it up here. I promise you that. Don't be a ninja. We really just briefly mentioned the humidity, and that was enough to send me to a new window to track the hurricane in the Caribbean. Oh, yeah. I think the hurricane's name was it Beryl? Which I thought was it Beryl? There was something. I think it begins with a B, and I was like, wow, that's a interesting name for a hurricane. Okay, your other posts are still there? Yeah, I didn't set them to expire. Cranberry Langers, what's up, man?
This is a cranberry full of power.
Cranberry Langers in the house. Just talking about the other sound effects that we're slowly building for this channel. I lurked earlier until I was off work. Okay, cool. Do the rabbits ride the snake? Oh my gosh. Youngest in the chat, simultaneously the most country, it seems. Nice pages in that Godlike book. Did you order it, Cranberry Langers? If so, got to do one of your awesome reviews. Okay, let me talk about some of the slowly get into this. One of the books I was looking, so this is quite a rainbow cover. I don't think it's rainbow for like Pride Week or anything like that. But this series, I was tracking this series and getting every book from this series almost since I started my YouTube channel. So it was like last year. And I liked the books because of the artwork predominantly. The story was interesting enough, But the artwork was really cool and striking, and particularly the colors and how Par drew cars and car races and robots. I really love how like technical it was. Just very interesting sci-fi. But then issue 5 came out, which is the last issue, and I could never find it. Like stores didn't have it. It had a pretty limited run. It wasn't like a hopping off the rack kind of book, but I could not find issue 5 in every store that I went to. All the stores in the city, nobody had it. I think maybe each store maybe ordered, maybe like 5 copies or less than 5 copies. And so those would sell really fast, and I never got it. Then they came out with a trade paperback, and I was like, well, I have the other 4 issues. I don't want to buy the trade just because I can't find the 5th. So I kind of never knew how the story ended. Love this design of this character. Never knew how the story ended, and was thinking I'd have to buy the issues somewhere online eventually. But then lo and behold, I was flipping through Frank's back issue rack, and he had a couple copies of issue 5 in there. So I got it. Have not read it yet, but I think this is the conclusion. And it's got more of the same from the whole series, so pretty cool. Petrol Head. Yeah, end of book 1. There you go. But look at those colors. Really vibrant, overly saturated, which is the look. It's the feel. And just great sci-fi car designs, vehicle designs, robot designs. I love it. I was not familiar at all with Par's work before this. And maybe they might be making another series. I don't know. Another volume or whatever you call it. But yeah, this was the trade paperback that came out that I didn't want to buy because I had the other issues. So I'm glad I found issue 5 and held out long enough to find it. Awesome One says, seems women don't like this book for a limited story and men like it for the art. Are we talking about... Not Petrol Head, right? Are you talking about Godlike? I don't know. Is that the consensus? Logo on the back cover. Oh, was it? Is this the logo? I thought it was like the logo that said Godlike was the one that Shant designed. I guess I could ask Shant. Let me text him right now. I don't know if he'll respond, but I can text him right now. Sorry, I'll switch so you don't see my arms. I didn't know you designed. Is it the one with the word or the icon? Okay, we'll see what Sean says. All right, so that's Petrol Head. And then here's the book that... Wait, let me catch up. The turtle felt like finally coming out of his shell, both figuratively and literally. I also come with another wild story. Yesterday morning, some dog attempted to Instagram carjack my grandma? What is IG carjack my grandma? I only know IG as Instagram, and that doesn't make any sense to that sentence. So fill me in, emo trash. And that sounds crazy. It expired. Had to be subbed to see it. Comrade Sammy. Come on. I don't know. I just have strange amount of knowledge about keeping livestock vegetables. You are a researcher, I think. That's part of the reason you like history. John, it existed. Cranberry can vouch for me. Never mind. See, that's what you out ninja'd yourself, Comrade Sammy. We all are confused. We didn't get to see this awesome post. Emo, post the grandma jacking in community tab. Barrel, it is Barrel. Okay, Hurricane Barrel. Like I thought barrel, like I think somebody on the news was like, and it's barreling down on Jamaica. And I was like, really? Who thought of that name? John says Cranberry Langers. I've got an sound effects now.
Goes, what's your name? He goes, John.
Emo Trash is giving us a little bit backstory. What happened was that my grandma was out moving her car and I'm still in bed and end up getting a call from her and I was barely comprehending what she was telling me. Apparently, some random dog decided to slip in the car while she had the door open and would not leave. Did he like lock the door? Oh my gosh. What's John? You just heard John's sound effect. He'll play it in 2 hours when Cranberry Langer says, I did not order Godlike. Okay. No. Awesome one. I did not. Okay, wait. I love when sci-fi really leans into color. Yeah, usually sci-fi. Thank you, Adam. Thank you for getting this conversation back on track to comics, because as you can tell with everybody else and Emo Trash the Derailer, you can tell we kind of get sidetracked. But it's all fun. We love it. That's the best part about chat, actually. But yes, to your comment, I love when sci-fi really leans into color. Usually this day and age, you see a lot of sci-fi. Not that I don't like it. I really do, like really desaturated and dark and moody. And so yeah, sci-fi with like poppy, like the last sci-fi I can think that really did that was like Guardians of the Galaxy, where James Gunn kind of, the first one where he kind of went the opposite direction of what you would imagine for sci-fi and made it Kirby, very pop-like colors, and I thought it turned out great. It was a great direction to go. So I feel similarly Petrol Head's doing that. And it's fun. It's like, it's kind of a heavy story, a dire story, but it livens it up and it gives it a new take. And yeah, it makes the coloring just really interesting. Don't tell any CG channels I mod that haven't bought a book in 3 years. Short on cash, no problem. Awesome one. Grandma called me out of bed to come help her coax this dog out of her car. You should have brought Louie, your bird. Maybe that would have helped. Cranberry Langer says, some good colors. The line work reminds me of bande dessinée. For Godlike or for Petrol Head? Sorry, as I catch up. Godlike, yes. Yes, it definitely has a little bit of a Euro influence in there, I would say. And I think that's just John Malin's style. Like, he has influence and is, you know, kind of looking at that stuff for influence. But he definitely has... like for, I have one of his books that he did the artwork for. I'll pull it out. When he was still working for Marvel, he does have this very, very thin inking style, thin line inking style. This is a series that he did the artwork on. And again, for those of you who aren't familiar with Malin's work, this was the stuff he was doing on mainstream books. But yeah, super thin lines. Kind of has like a Travis influence a little bit. It's really unique. And it doesn't feel Rob Liefeldish. It feels more Wildstorm to me, which is cool. It's great. I like both styles, but it's cool. He's a great character designer. Yeah, so similarly, Godlike kind of falls in this territory. Great faces. Yeah, super cool. I haven't looked at this book in a while. I have to read this again. But yeah, I think I also see like in his artwork, like reminds me a little bit of like Lionel Francis Yu. Has a bit of that flavor in it too. Like this is Liefeld stuff. This is more, yeah, a lot more stylized. Okay, it's a trip down a Malin memory lane. Katie's here. Hey, Katie. Good evening, afternoon, all. Katie, all the way from the UK. Katie, I was just telling, I think John mentioned that you have a rabbit. Is that true? Do you have a rabbit? Oh, your bunny. Here we go. John says, you're awake. Talked about your bunny for a second. We were talking about bunnies and rabbits, but not in the cute pet kind of fashion. We were talking about as an alternative to red meat. So maybe that would be offensive to you. But my exposure with bunnies and rabbits is predominantly as like cute things that you cuddle. But that is not Emo Trash's perspective. IG. Oh, I guess. Okay, wait. When you were reading that, or I was reading that. Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense. I guess. Oh, okay. Once we do get her out of the car, she proceeded to follow me home. Oh, so cute. So then what? These like chat stories. It's like I'm reading like different chapters of what's happening. What water was all it took to coax the dog out of the car? Really? So is this like homeless dog or what? The dog followed me home. She was female. And no collar, just randomly appeared and jumped in my grandma's car. Oh my gosh. Hope you guys didn't get, or I wonder if you had like rabies shot. Like that can't be good. Warning, Katie, emo eats bunnies. The dog is now yours. Enjoy. That's how you find dogs. They just jump in your cars and then they become part of the family. No, this dog just hopped up in the passenger side, refused to be moved from the seat, and she called me because it was a bigger dog, German Shepherd. Oh, wow. That's frightening. Wasn't aggressive, fortunately, sweet as could be. Oh, okay. Then what? Then what happened? Did you call like the pound or what? Man, I'm on like pins and needles. Edge of my seat. Emo, snake, rabbit, dog, rancher. What's up, American Discord? 11 in chat. Smash that like for Mr. Ballesteros. Wow, I just mispronounced my name. Ballesteros. Hey, Shelby, how are you doing? Is your family back? I know you were like bachelor living the last few days, getting your streams in, eating some unhealthy food, ramen potentially, Red Bulls maybe, Monster. No, I think you're a Monster guy. But yeah, are you back to the grind? Did they come back from their vacation? Oh my gosh, Emo, you are really I'm reading you talking about cats now. Okay. That looks like a Wildcats cover. Yep, for sure. There's that Wildstorm influence. How things are placed in panels makes me feel unbalanced, off center. I've eaten rabbit, not my favorite meat, Katie says. Lamb. Oh, now awesome one. Now you've done it. Lamb is not nasty. I think you've probably haven't had a good cooked lamb then, because if it doesn't taste well, if it tastes too gamey, then it's probably not cooked well. I really like lamb when it's done well, like a good lamb chop. Holy moly. Cranberry Langer says, from what I know, rabbit tastes good. Best slow. I'm a little disturbed here, Katie, that you have so much information on eating rabbits, but John was mentioning that you had a rabbit. Are you going to eat it? Please don't. Oh my gosh. Okay, Adam Goodall. So as Emo Trash is our derailer in stream, Adam is keeping us back in track. Thank you so much, sir. I like Scarlett 1. The art wasn't much to write home about, but I'll give it another shot. I am exactly in the same boat as you. It actually made me hesitate the art style because it had that, like, I'd mentioned this last stream, kind of pseudo manga style to it. But I kind of like the story, and it just felt like a good old-fashioned spy story. And sort of the way that the artist, Marco Ferreira, the way he was telling the story, I liked his pacing in it, and I liked the way he was telling his story, like the storytelling choices he was picking. So I, like you, thought, okay, I'll give it another issue. I mean, that's kind of the cool things. It's kind of the genius model that Skybound is doing with this whole Energon universe. It's like they have their cornerstone books, like Transformers, and then I just heard the big announcement that they are going to be doing a new G.I. Joe series. So currently, G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, is not attached to the Energon universe, even though G.I. Joe, the IP, is. So that was through Duke, Cobra Commander, now Scarlett, and Destro. And all of those, definitely Cobra Commander and Duke, were great books, great little books. And they weren't ongoing series, so it was neat that they just kind of did maybe 5 or 6 issues for those, and then they're done, and you get a taste, different flavor, different artist, different writer, but they're like building out their stories just by giving some characters solo moments. So that's what they're doing here with Scarlett too. But it's really genius because, you know, G.I. Joe has a bajillion different characters, and they can keep doing this while they're building the main story through Transformers and now this new G.I. Joe book. The awesome thing about what I heard for that G.I. Joe book announcement is that Tom Riley, the artist on Duke, is going to be the artist on that book. And that should be really good because he is a great artist. So yeah, that's cool. It's cool, like, kind of, I mean, that is a really simple helicopter, but oops, excuse me. But it kind of works. It's definitely this espionage spy kind of thing. So yeah, if I'm still in on the story in issue 2, I'll keep going. I'll definitely keep going. But this was the one book that I was going to pick up this week and ended up picking a lot more. What kind of drugs is Rocky on? I don't know. I did know RN was right now. Next weekend they're coming. Oh, I got another week or another half week. Live it up, man. I'm sure you're enjoying yourself. You and your cat. Drawing comics. I've never eaten rapids before, actually. I just know they are ranched. That's exactly what I was thinking when you said that. Lamb is greasy meat, isn't it? It doesn't seem overly I don't think it doesn't feel greasier than like pork. Probably less greasy than pork. Good cover on Scarlett. Yeah, that is a cool cover. I don't know if you guys can see, but there's like a reflection here on the sword, and there's like a ninja, like a Arashikage sign on the ninja's gi, or whatever you call that, his uniform. I don't know who drew this cover. I don't think it's the ongoing artist. It might be MF. Oh, it is Marco Ferrari. Yeah. Wow, that doesn't look like his style. It has a more manga style in the book. Not on this cover, though. That cover's great. Great cover. Again, with very vivid colors. I'm not going to eat it. Katie says she's not going to eat a rabbit. Thank goodness. All right. Let's see. The manga style could pair well if they're going to lean into the ninja story. That's probably why they went that route. I don't know much about this artist, Marco Ferrari, and I was mentioning this last stream that seeing non-Japanese artists draw in a manga style, that's either hit or miss for me. There's very few people who I feel like can pull that off and bring something new to the table. Joe Mattiero is one of those. Another artist named Adam Warren. I mean, to a certain extent, Adam Goodall. I would say even Daniel Warren Johnson has a manga influence in his work, in the way that he stages action and with the action lines, and even how he inks some of his work. Paul Pope again is another one that gives me a similar vibe to Daniel Warren Johnson, who has been influenced by Japanese comics. So those are the kind of people that I like. But when somebody is like one for one trying to draw like a Japanese style and they're just mimicking everything that they see stylistic in it, then I'm just like, I don't know. Just get a better artist to do it who's Japanese. Adam Goodall says, I still need to read Duke. Read Duke. Duke is great. Really good. Tom Riley is the artist on that, and he is really good. He's got, if you like that style, which is this kind of clean line, kind of falls in the line of like Chris Samney, I feel like, is a similar artist. And I love Chris Samney's work. But yeah. Okay, this is a weird book that I picked up. But I picked this up because of the art. And specifically the art in issue 2, which I also have. But I couldn't find issue 1, and then I found issue 1 at that store in where were we? Marin, Mill Valley. Blue Moon Comics. And then so I got issue 2 also. Issue 1 and issue 2. But Union Jack the Ripper, this is part of the Blood Hunt series. It's one of the spin-off books of the Blood Hunt series, just a 3-issue series. Why did I pick up Union Jack the Ripper? I don't know. I don't really like Union Jack. I never was into his stuff or his stories. But there was just something about the artwork that I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. It went there as far as, you know, the blood hunt and the vampire thing. And there's Union Jack here. That's how this art is drawn. I thought that was really cool. It's a cool style. It's a little bit more, speaking of like Tom Riley, Chris Samney, Matt Wagner, maybe a little bit, I feel like is in this range. Phil Hester, kind of those artists, it feels like. A little bit of Mignola. But yeah, I thought his interpretation of Union Jack was cool. So I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then it just goes there. Like they just start mauling these vampires. I don't know the story. I haven't read it yet. But it did have like a little bit of a Hellboy vibe to it. Michael A. Von Oming, again, is another artist who I think is kind of in this category. But that's pretty cool. The lighting in that feels really neat, kind of horror vibe. But the other image that I loved was like they got these chains, I guess, from this crazy vampire, and he wraps these chains around his arms. That's cool. You'll see it in the next issue. He wraps his chains around his arms and then just starts beating the crap out of the vampires. Yeah, that has a very Mignola feel to it. So yeah, it's an example of the artwork. There it is. Like, that's pretty cool. And like I said, I have no attachment whatsoever to Union Jack, but this seems like kind of a brutal, gritty story. And the artwork was decent, very creepy bad guy. So it just made me want to try it, pick it up. And it's only 3 issues. So yeah, I will definitely pick up issue 3 of that. Issue 1 and 2 look pretty fun. And Union Jack the Ripper. Picked that up this past weekend. Okay, I know I'm way behind here. I personally wouldn't have minded having another dog, but it's not my house. Make that call. You've got a bird and a cat, and you got a whole zoo. Nice, almost full-page spreads. Shelby could do this cover. Shelby could do any cover. Hollow Fields does good American manga style. Okay, I gotta write that down. Hollow Fields. Is that a series or is that an artist? I'm assuming that's a series because that doesn't sound like an artist name. All right, let's see. More rabbits, emo. You're the worst. Okay, jumping forward. Great cover on Union Jack the Ripper. Okay, I'm getting close to catching up. Great cover on Union Jack the Ripper too. Cool, yes. This cover was done by Philip Tan. Surprised me because Philip Tan was the artist on the Ronin Volume 2 series that he worked on with Frank Miller. And that felt very Wildstorm-ish, Jim Lee-ish influence. And this doesn't feel like that at all. So very interesting. But yeah, it's pretty cool. But like, is this... Are we looking from the inside of a mouth, a vampire mouth, at Union Jack? I don't know. I don't even know what Union Jack's deal is. Katie, do you know? You're from the UK. Do you know anything about Union Jack Union Jack, the character? Great colors. Love that double spray as well. Camel Moon has a chain brush in his Photoshop, which people tease him about. I would not be opposed to somebody using a chain brush because chains are crazy. Just that pinup I did for, or that contest image I did for Spawn, and I had to draw those chains, and I didn't even draw that many chains. I kind of copped out on it, but yeah, it's painful, especially when they're interlocking. Speaking of Mike Mignola, I have been teaching myself to draw the last couple of years. Awesome. My goal is to be able to spot blacks as good as Mike Mignola. Good luck, man. He's the master at that stuff. And this is a great segue. I was actually going to save this for a little later, but it's a great segue because you're talking about it. One of the books that I picked up today is a Mike Mignola book. So this is what I was telling you guys. Now you can see the price that I paid. But Frank at Amazing Fantasy told me that he just started doing this. And I don't remember seeing these labels before. So it does seem like he just started doing it because as I was flipping through these back issues, I started seeing these labels. And I was like, oh, this is awesome because it tells you exactly, at least for me as a collector, of what I want to know. Mike Mignola cover and full issue art. So I know, like, looking at this, like, oh, yeah. And I actually knew this story was Mike Mignola all the way through. But for certain other books, it was really great to know that who the cover artist was and the inside artist, if it mattered, right? And then he gives a little grading, a VG grading. But he did this on a whole bunch of his books. And I know it takes time, Frank, if you're watching, but it's worth it. And it's probably going to cost me a lot of money now that you're doing this, cataloging or stuff like this. But this is kind of a famous Batman story that Mignola worked on in 1993. So this is pre-Hellboy. But you can already tell he's in that Hellboy, Dracula world. And his style is already like really tightening up. But talking about spotting blacks amazingly, like this dude is it. This is the gold standard right here. He also once said there's a Union Jack story where he becomes like a god and plays a game to see if the heroes can beat him to kill time. Yeah, I am not familiar with Union Jack at all. Great pages in that Union Jack book. I suppose the chat ninja has ghosted us once again. No, she didn't. She's around. Emo Trash says she didn't do anything to the rabbits, just live in a part of the U.S. where I see them farmers who raise them. Hollow Fields is a young adult series, probably. One of my favorites. Okay, cool. I'll have to check that out. Union Jack is just a UK super soldier. That's what I thought. Yeah, I thought he was just like a... Well, I mean, they have Captain Britain, who is like a comparable to... Maybe he's not a comparable, because Captain Britain had superpowers. Union Jack... I don't think Union Jack has superpowers. But anyway, I thought one of them was a comparable to Captain America, Captain Britain, Captain America. But Union Jack, yeah, I think he was just like an enhanced soldier. That's what I knew. I do love how they incorporated, at least in the old design, like the flag, the Union Jack flag, to his costume. So that's cool. But other than that, I don't know what kind of stories he did. Union Jack is what they call their flag under. Yeah. I mean, it's a great name. I love that name. But I didn't know much about what his stories are. John says, guessing Katie. I love how you guys, when people aren't actively chatting, you start assuming things like, oh, Katie fell asleep. It's okay. It's all right, everybody. Yeah, he's pretty much the British Captain America when he doesn't have cosmic powers. Did he get cosmic powers? That sounds really familiar. That he got, what was the name of that series? Or that, it was like a crossover series where, I remember Spider-Man got cosmic powers at a certain point. But there was, man, I'm doing bad today with memory. But they would get cosmic powers, and maybe Union Jack was part of that. It was like some event or something that made them get the cosmic powers, or they were deemed worthy or something like that. The rabbits she raised were just pets, but she also had relatives who ate the rabbits they raised. Ooh. I have heard Mike Mignola talk about when he draws Batman, he also writes stories where he doesn't have to draw the car. Like he doesn't like drawing cars. Yeah, this is awesome. Mike Mignola also did, I should pull it out, but it'll drag this on much, but he did like a Batman Hellboy Starman miniseries. That was really amazing. I love his rendition of Batman. I have one of his that I will pull out. 1 second. This was based off of the cover that he did for Batman Black and White. It's one of my prized statues that I love. But this was the Mike Mignola Black and White Batman statue. And I just love how they really tried to capture or make his flat 2D art three-dimensional. They did a great job. Really great translation. They even added the little like hatch marks that he adds for texture. But at every angle, it felt like a Mike Mignola drawing, which is crazy that you can translate that into 3 dimensions. And yeah, this was based off of the cover of his Batman Black and White series. So I love Mignola's Batman Black and White. Batman design. Also, who can forget his Gotham by Gaslight version of Batman. And then this is where he starts, introducing his like Cthulhu elements and his love for horror. You can really feel him like adding that into this story. And obviously he loves that stuff because that's all what Hellboy is about. So I never had this issue before until today. Thank you, Frank. But I did have this. Shout out Mr. Monkey Boy 1969. This is a French version that I found of it. And the cool thing about the French, I don't know why the French always do this, but they print black and white versions of these comic stories. This is why I got it. Now, Adam Goodall, this is a great... Mike Mignola's... I mean, most of the color work on Mike Mignola's art is great. He works with awesome colorists. This one he worked with... I'm either going to guess Chiarello or... I don't think Dave Stewart yet. Mark Chiarello was the colorist. Mark Chiarello was the early colorist on his early Hellboy stuff. And he's a great artist in his own right. And actually happens to be the guy who was the editor in the executive editor of the Batman Black and White series. So, oh wait, was that Chiarello? I think that was Chiarello. Anyway, so yeah, the people that color Mignola's stuff are usually really good and kind of know how to handle his stuff. But to see it in black and white is stunning. Cameron Sammy says she's alive. Cranberry Ranger says I might be thinking of Captain Britain. Yeah, Captain Britain was the one who had powers. Like, he'd fly, he'd shoot things out of his hands. He was part of Excalibur. But Union Jack, I don't think, had powers. Yep, same. We are on the same wavelength right now, Adam Goodall. Mark's Music Obsession says, I have to leave in about 15 minutes or so, my time. Rocky, have to meet someone coming in town for the Hollywood. Okay, no problem, Mark. I'm glad we got the... closed captioning working for you today. We'll know how to do it next time for sure. Sound effect for you. Let me know when you take off and I'll give you one more hit. Well, actually, I'm probably behind. Well, you said 5:30, so I'll give you one more right before you leave. Cosmic Spider-Man. That's right. The universe bestows it on people. Thank you, Cranberry Langers. Yes. Spider-Man got Captain Universe. Yes, there we go. Wow, this is awesome. It's all making sense. You guys are half of my brain that I'm forgetting everything. I've also learned that apparently my dad is working on some project in the basement, so any prayers for him are appreciated. Oh boy, does he have a bad history of projects in the basement? I'm going to have to go and read some Hellboy now. Oh my gosh, Adam Goodall. If you have any affinity towards Mignola and his artwork and how he draws his artwork, I'll give you another one. So yeah, this is the black and white of Sanctuary. Beautiful. I'll flip through it really quick and then I'll pull out what. Beautiful. I love like those blacks, those stark contrasts. He's all here, drawing your eye here, but then he still does this amazing Cthulhu-like drawing here and treats it very lightly. So the contrast between the two is amazing. Yeah, his sense of stylized lighting is awesome. Then also in this French compilation, they also included black and white version of Gotham by Gaslight, which is an even earlier work of Mignola, but also great to see in black and white. This was one of the benchmarks for me growing up when I was familiar with Mignola's work, stuff he had done. I'd seen it. But then when I saw Gotham by Gaslight, I was like, this is very, very different. And just the way he told this story was really different. I have a whole bunch of Mignola stuff. I won't pull all of it out because that will be the whole stream. But I'm a huge fan of Mignola, and I have a lot of his work. I have his Fanfare, the Grey Mouser. I have this great X-Force issue that he did, which is awesome to see him draw what was at the time Rob Liefeld's wheelhouse, and to have Mignola jump in there. I know he got a lot of hate for drawing it, but let me pull out one more thing for you, Adam Goodall. Oops. I don't have the artist version of this. I have the Artisan edition of this, which is the cheaper, smaller version of it. But you should look at these if you want to study Mignola stuff, because these are scans from his original artwork. The artist edition are at size, like actual size of the artwork, and bigger print, hardbound, beautiful. But these artisan editions, if you can't afford the artist editions, which tend to run, at least for Mignola's, tend to run in the like $300-$400 range for his books. The artisan editions are very affordable. You can probably get this one for $40, if not cheaper in some places. But it still gives you the whole artwork and the exact scan. It's just shrunk down a little bit. But it's awesome. It's beautiful to look at. And he's just one of a kind, man. He's really a great storyteller. His pacing is awesome. He's just mastered this style of storytelling, and then his use of blacks and whites and how he leads your eye around the page, how he makes you pause, and how he can scare you even in comics, which is not an easy thing to do, is really cool. And then his interpretation and simplification of classic horror concepts is super awesome. He's just a great designer. So yeah, I recommend, if you want to study his work, to get one of these. The cool thing about this particular artisan edition, which is the Hellboy in Hell and other stories, they include like the very first promotional comic he did for Hellboy. So you can tell Hellboy's not totally simplified out as he is now. But you can see that in the original art. And then the side story, Hellboy was a lot more, I mean, he still is, but he was a lot more campy when he first was created. It's gotten a lot more serious and darker, I'd say. But yeah, it's so amazing. And then he has some of his short stories that he did. I love this. They just made a statue or a toy, I think a vinyl, based on this short story with the corpse that's kind of hanging on his back. Very tempting to get, but I didn't. So yeah, highly recommend getting one of these books and studying it. It'll level up your darks and lights. But we can talk more about Mignola in a future stream, because there's tons to talk about. Just the progression of his work. I have like Cosmic Odyssey that he worked on. Like I said, Fanfare the Grey Mouser, the Dracula. I think Shelby, didn't you do Shelby just recently did, maybe not recently. I could have sworn I saw a stream he did where he flipped through the Dracula movie adaptation that Mignola did, which is amazing. Obviously, all the Hellboy stuff he did. And yeah, he's incredible. Let's see. The figurine is hard on the eyes, but well done. Ranching is also another word for raising animals, by the way. I've heard that for sure. I'm way behind. Emo, what's going on, Emo? You're bullying Cranberry? Equal opportunity bully? Emo trash, keep bullying him? Oh my gosh, guys. Oh, ranch. You guys talking about the worst of word. I love the panels that are 85% just black, but you can totally tell what is there and what is going on. Yeah, he's really mastered that. Yeah, hence the Dark Knight. Okay. Mike Mignola's work is very good. He is. He's one of those, like, one that's in a generation, one of a kind. I just admire how he's built his, I want to say brand, but like the universe, the Mignola-verse or whatever. He's so unique. And yet when you look at his early work, he was just starting out, just wanting to get in comics. He started off as like an inker too, if I'm not mistaken. And he kind of sucked at inking. And he even says that about himself, like he didn't like his inking. And so when he would get these like opportunities to guest pencil on certain books or jump in. I know he got a lot of hate because people are like, who is this guy? What is this weird style? But he was mixing in like Kirby and Alex Toth and great segue actually. Da-da-da. I didn't mean to do that, but I will. This was another book I picked up today. And I saw the cover and I was like, okay, that's cool Green Lantern cover. But again, kudos to Frank for saying Toth Austin art. And I was like, oh, okay. I got to open this and look at it. Alan Lau says, have you seen the trailer to the new... I did. What did you think, Alan? I don't want to... Well, as I'm waiting for your response, that's kind of how my face was when I saw that trailer. I was like, And I don't know if it's because I've been so used to like the Del Toro rendition, the Del Toro angle on Hellboy. I never actually watched, or maybe I started trying to watch the third one that came out that wasn't Del Toro. I really love Ron Perlman as the casting of Hellboy, so maybe that's tainted my idea of what Hellboy should be. But yeah, I don't know. They didn't really show him that much other than you could see his makeup and stuff. They didn't really show his interaction that much. I feel like he's just trying to do what Ron Perlman did as opposed to his own take. The actor, whoever the actor is, I don't know who that actor is who's playing the Hellboy. But it just seemed like more like a low budget horror movie. Maybe that's the direction they're going, as opposed to this like fantastical Hellboy world that the first two movies did. I'd argue that the stories that Mignola tells do fit in that low budget horror movie model better. So yeah, but I wasn't jumping out of my seat when I saw that trailer, Alan. I haven't seen Cosmic Odyssey. Ooh, Adam. It's cool. It's different. It's before I would pull it out, but I feel like I would overwhelm the stream with Mignola stuff. Maybe we'll see. But it's different from... It's before he started like really using heavy blacks and darks and lights and heavy shadows in his stuff. But he was already getting into this kind of chunky, stylized graphic design of the characters. That's why I loved it actually when I saw it as a kid. His rendition of like Superman and Darkseid and all that was so different than what you would normally see. But some people didn't like it. It's like Mignola had these phases where he was paired up with P. Craig Russell for a while, and I think that's who was inking Cosmic Odyssey. And P. Craig Russell brought a different feel to Mignola's work, a more whimsical, thin line feel to his work. And then when Mignola shifted over and started inking his own stuff and started spotting in those blacks a lot harder, being more graphic and telling like darker stories, that's when the Hellboy started coming out and the Batman stuff that he did. And that's when I feel like Mignola was like really finding his own. Let's see. Okay, so this story is drawn by Alex Toth, and I guess Terry Austin might have helped ink it. But Toth is one of those unbelievable legends that has influenced all the greats like Mike Mignola. Bruce Timm is highly influenced. The whole style of like Batman the Animated Series. Yeah, Toth is incredible. And then he also was such a great storyteller, such a great composer in his comic stuff. I heard he was a crazy curmudgeon though, and not a nice dude from the stories I've read about him. And he also designed Space Ghosts, was Toth's design. He designed a lot of animated stuff, the like Super Friends, That was Alex Toth, was a key designer on that. He designed Herculoids. I have a whole book on his animated stuff. I will get that because it's really good. But yeah, him doing a Green Lantern story is crazy good. And I have never seen this story before. So pretty cool. And then Dave Gibbons, who is from the Watchmen fame, the Watchmen artist, and Martha Washington, a lot of 2000 AD stuff, British artist. He did this backup story or second story or whatever. I don't know what it's about. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool to get. I know Toth has done some. I would say he's done. I mean, he did a lot of superhero comics, but he also did more like non-superhero stuff, is what he's more known for. So it's really cool to see him draw a classic Hal Jordan Green Lantern. Here, let me get that Toth book really quick. Oh, I'll catch up in the chat and then we'll get that Toth book. Shelby is busy eating cereal now. He's the serial killer. Cranberry Landers. We hope that your dad doesn't injure anything. BPRD, Screwhead, Hellboy, Lobster, all great Mignola stuff. Yes, I have Lobster Johnson. Great. And he designed Lobster Johnson. He drew Lobster Johnson. He mostly wrote, actually, Lobster Johnson and got another artist to draw, like, the miniseries. This artist by the name of Tonchi Zonchich. I have his book here. Oh, Mark Music Session. He's out. Oh, sorry, dude. Thanks again for the sound effect. One more for you. I know I'm like 8 minutes behind. But yeah, Lobster Johnson's a cool design. BPRD. For the Hellboy trailer, Alan Lau says, I am cautiously skeptically optimistic. Fingers crossed. You're going to hate it. Ron Perlman embodies Hellboy. I agree. Ron Perlman was a great actor and brought the great attitude and look of Hellboy. I feel like the whoever the current dude is, and granted they didn't show many shots of him, but he feels like a little too small for Hellboy, like a little wimpier than Ron Perlman, or the other actor, even the guy from Stranger Things, David, was it Balfour is his last name? I mean, he at least was like the right size. Happy 4th. That's right. Tomorrow's 4th of July. Happy 4th, everybody. I prefer the Ron Perlman take, but I don't like Golden Army one or the redo. Yeah. The thing I liked about Golden Army, it almost became more about Del Toro than it did about Mignola in that one, because he just went all Del Toro out with all his creature designs and the characters and stuff like that. So happy 4th of July, everybody. Cherish Psalms. Hey, Cherish Psalms. I watched Hellboy with my ma years ago, but recently I found out about the character Cronin. I want more cool characters like that. Nazi or not. LOL. Yeah, that's awesome. Happy Treason Day, ungrateful colonials. I preferred Lobster Johnson to Hellboy. Really? I mean, I think Hellboy is just always, I just appreciate how Hellboy is just like, he was almost just a vehicle for Mignola to tell any horror or monster story that he wanted to. And he would just throw Hellboy in the middle of that. And then Hellboy would just be like, all right, this sucks. Boom, pow. And just like start punching people and not really love what he was doing. But he was just always there. Cherish Psalms. Everybody's saying hello to Cherish Psalms. Thanks for coming back, Cherish Psalms. Glad we didn't scare you away with the last stream. Rocky comes back to straight up. Yeah, more anarchy because you're still here. John, you don't seem like you would watch Hellboy, Cherish Psalms says. Alan, I was not unconfident in Hellboy. John says he liked the Perlman's Hellboy. Yeah, it was good. Okay, cool. Let me grab the Toth book really quick. I do have a couple more back issues to go through. This is a ginormous book. Actually, I have a couple of Toth books, and they came out in a few in this series. Wow, I can see my desk. But yeah, Toth, he was, talk about somebody who could balance out like black and white and making something graphic and appealing and recognizable. Like he was the man. He was the man that everybody was looking at for animation design. So yeah, Space Ghost, like just such a balanced character. Really cool. And God bless Hanna-Barbera tried to incorporate Toth stuff, but they did the best they could. Be curious. I mean, I wish Toth was still alive. I wish he was designing for like studios that could handle his artwork better. I think he simplified stuff down, and I've read interviews with him about simplification. And he was, his approach to comic art was more about paring it down to the point of only the lines there were the ones you needed, as opposed to going in the opposite direction of, you know, artists that like hatch the crap out of stuff or like draw all sorts of detail and everything. Like he was always simplifying his stuff more and more. Maybe it was because he worked in animation, but I think that's just how his brain worked. Did these like Fantastic Four designs, but each one of these designs are amazing, and they have such a great balance of dark, black, and white, and without even seeing them in color, they're so clear. Their designs. Look at that Egu design for Herculoids. Like that feels like a Mignola drawing right there, right? Cranberry Langer says, I probably don't like Hellboy as much because I'm not into monsters and horror. Fair enough. Fair enough. Cherish Psalm says, I like how soothing your voice is and how you describe. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Maybe it's my mic settings, the timbre of my voice, but I appreciate that. John says, going to grab dinner, Rocky. Don't do anything interesting until I get back.
Goes, what's your name? He goes, John.
Will do, John. Can't promise that, John. I'll still be here. Yeah. I like the simple but still realistic anatomy. That's a great observation. Yeah, his stuff didn't simplify to the point of being cartoony. It just simplified to being simple, but all the anatomy is still there. All the proportions are still there. Look at this, incredible. Like this guy has nothing to his costume, but they're still so interesting. His face is so great. And the way that he has these like dark outlines to his eyes. It's awesome. Like I wouldn't normally watch a Three Musketeers cartoon. I don't even know if this was ever, they probably did a few episodes or something, but I would watch a Three Musketeers cartoon that looked like this. And he was such a researcher too. Like he drew all these different fencing poses. Look at that. Like this guy was a genius. Great observer. He would do storyboards too. Some of his layout drawings. And then here comes the Super Friends. But yeah, he did all these design. Like I wouldn't normally watch a cartoon about Oliver, the Artful Dodger, but if it's designed like this, I would. I don't know how great the stories were that were written for, but the designs are killer. Professor Smith. So good. Great likeness. This is him going a little bit more cartoony too, like simplifying the eyes. And I know Bruce Timm did that a lot too on Batman the Animated Series. So you can see how much his influence was on Timm. And here we go. Here's the Super Friends stuff. Love it. This is Hal Jordan, and then that was kind of what we were looking at here. So yeah, I don't own many Toth superhero stories, so it's really cool to run across those. This is classic Batman. This is Toth. I thought Batman Beyond was too simplified. I know many people really loved it. Yeah, it almost, I mean, I loved it. I did love the design. I didn't like the stories as much as I liked the original Batman the Animated Series because I love that film noir take on it. I love Bruce Wayne as a character. But the design style on Batman Beyond did go more stylistic, a little bit harder edged. That was when like Bruce Timm, Darwin Cook, Glenn Murakami, those guys were like refining the Batman the Animated style more and more. And then you add the sci-fi element and you got a lot of that. But yeah, some people didn't like it. See, I like that. Recently I've been drawing stuff with no shading at all, but it can still look visually interesting and maybe even preferable for some. Yeah, it's a great exercise. It's really great. I'm not into horror either, Cranberry, unless I'm playing Roblox, because it can really mess with me mentally sometimes. Yeah, I'm not a big horror fan either. I'm not big like horror movies. Here's the storyboards. It's really competent there. It's the villains. Yeah, Toth was just one of those artists that could do everything. So much work. There's this one section here of stuff that wasn't ever produced. He did a lot of work, obviously, for Hanna-Barbera Studios. A good portion of his career was spent there doing these different pitches. But every one of them were great. Great pitches. This Farrah, like his version of Farrah Fawcett. Like, what? Dial H for Heroes. Even these people in regular clothing look so interesting. Great costume designer. I don't know half of these properties, but it was like they were just trying to create cartoons out of everything. And some stuck, some didn't. Something called Super Cop. Never heard of that before. Ah, this is cool. Thundar the Barbarian classic. Emo Trash says, I'm not much of a horror consumer myself, but I love investigating a lot of the concepts. Yeah, I don't like getting scared. I'll close my eyes, cover my ears. Faces are great. Love the faces in profile. People talking about horror. Seems like a lone wolf in the horror aspect, Comrade Sammy says. Farrah Fawcett's hair. It's iconic, for sure. Immaculate, iconic. Depends on what the indie horror is. I avoid poppy playtime like the plague, but for some reason as a kid I also fell in with the entire FNAF. FNAF fandom. What's FNAF? Somebody tell me. I can do some horror, but mostly kaiju type stuff. Bendy and the Ink Machine. John, what is FNAF? FNAF. What does that mean? Yeah, the horrors, I guess. I'm trying to think like what's my favorite. Like I was scarred as a kid watching like The Exorcist. I don't even know why I was watching that as a kid. Or like The Shining. That was horrifying. That kind of horror really freaks me out. I really did. Speaking of Shant, I really do love. I loved Blair Witch Project, and I watched that at his house, like on VHS tape at his house when that came out. And I remember being really disturbed by that. But I like smart horror like that. I don't like overly graphic horror. That's not my cup of tea. Oh, Five Nights at Freddy's. Gotcha. Yeah, that doesn't totally appeal to me. I know it's a huge property, but it doesn't totally appeal to me, that one. Five Nights at Freddy's. Thank you. Indie horror game that's a lot less indie. Yeah. Super popular. I mean, you see stuff in like Target all the time. I did grow up with Nightmare on Elm Street. I shouldn't have been watching that. I love The Aliens movies are great. As far as horror, I know the first one is more horror than some of the other ones. All right, what else do I got here? Oh, on my wrapping up here, or not wrapping up, I got two more things. This was a couple issues I found, and now I feel like I have to get... So this is a 4-issue miniseries of Deadman, and this is issue 2 and 4. I didn't see issue 1 or 3 in the back issue box. But the artwork on this, and I wouldn't have known it unless Frank had put that sticker on, is by José Luis García-López. And you guys all, those of you who have seen my previous streams on Atari Force, you guys know how much I love José García-López. José Luis García-López. And I knew he had worked on Deadman, but I'd never seen the books. So it was really cool to run across them here. The scares in Five Nights at Freddy's dropped off dramatically after Sister Location. Yeah, I can't really play horror games. I remember, like, the most horror game I used to play was Resident Evil, and I would get too freaked out by those. So, yeah, I can't play. I think it's just because it's like, it's as if you are getting scared. Like, you're there, right, when you're playing the game. So, yeah, I can't play those. Raiders of the Lost Ark. I wouldn't consider that a horror. That's some scary parts, but that's more of an adventure. Y'all keep talking about those rabbits. I'll go find one to eat. Please don't. Here we go. José Luis García-López. Artist extraordinaire drawing Deadman. A character that doesn't totally appeal to me, but seeing him draw it, I love it. I think Deadman's, yeah, here we go. His backstory is he used to be like a trapeze artist, I thought. And then he died. Maybe not a very good trapeze artist. That's awesome. This weird midget guy with a gun. But in classic José Luis García-López style, he can draw anything, any pose. Great poses, actually. Yeah, Deadman's a weird character. I always get him confused with... Well, they're both DC. I get him confused with the Spectre. They're like dead people that come back and are a little vengeful. I don't even know what Deadman's powers are. Can he phase through things? I don't know if I've mentioned this before, I was definitely more of a Marvel boy than I was DC growing up. So I don't know as much about DC characters as I do Marvel characters. And so Deadman's one of those, I'm like, I don't remember. I did remember he had that weird history, though, or backstory. Cool. This is issue 2, and this is issue 4. Oh, yeah. In Raiders, the face melting scene, that was a little bit. Wait. Yeah, that was a little bit. Sorry, I was thinking. I mean, the quote unquote horror aspect of Indiana Jones got worse with Temple of Doom. Like that. The whole, like, what's his name? Molin Ra or whatever. Like him reaching into the heart. Like that was creepy. That was frightening, actually. That was more of a horror than the first one. Then he died. Yeah, that's his backstory. He died. He did. I just love how Jose Luis Garcia is just pushing it, like his expressions. Like I can't imagine him saying, "Please, DC, give me Deadman to draw." I almost feel like it was just like, who can draw Deadman? I don't know. Give it to Jose, and he's just killing it. It's really solid stuff. Great likenesses, great posing. Just his the way he contorts the body and twists it. It's really good. And then just his design sense is always on point. This is fun. I'm not going to know what the heck is going on because I'm missing every other issue, but maybe I'll be able to locate the missing issues. It's only 2 other missing issues. One of these days. I don't think they made a trade paperback of Deadman. Deadman doesn't seem like the most popular character where they would compile all of his issues in a trade format. Frank did remind me, and it was something that I had pre-ordered, is they are coming out with the DC Style Guide Standards book. And it's all Jose Luis Garcia-Lopez artwork. And he had put together this style guide for DC for all their products, their consumer products, and just anytime you would use DC stuff in marketing. And I remember seeing on eBay or on the internet, people talking about this style guide and how hard it was to find. And if anybody had one, they were usually super expensive. But this new company, I think I mentioned this before, this new company, are they called Standard? They, however, got a hold of that style guide and got permission to produce a new version of it. So that's coming out, I think this year sometime, but I already pre-ordered it and I'm really excited about that because it's going to be amazing. That's art I like. Awesome one likes Deadman. Oh no, Deadman can just possess people and use their bodies That's creepy. That's a creepy power. He was selected by a god who chose him to do good stuff. Okay, that sounds very familiar to or similar to Moon Knight, where a god comes in and uses that character as an avatar a little bit to do their bidding. Temple of Doom was worse. It was really worse. Oh, shut it, Lau. We've had this debate many a times. And Temple of Doom was not the best indie sequel. I love the first one. I think the first one's the best. And then I love Last Crusade. I think that one was great. But Alan would always be pushing Temple of Doom. Have you watched it recently? It's not the best. It's not the best sequel. Someone showed that heart scene. I was shocked to see it was from Indiana Jones. Yeah, I think it was PG-13, right? And I'm like, this is not PG-13. This is frightening. Spectre used to be the embodiment of God's justice. Yes, green outfit. Later, it's a dude who's chosen to fill that role. Gotcha. Yeah, I think it's just the pale body element of higher power, using that being, again, like Moon Knight, very similar. I forgot what the voodoo priest line was when he was pulling out the heart out of the guy's chest, but if I remember, I'd be quoting it. Wasn't it in a different language? They were just chanting and yelling and... Ugh. It was frightening. Temple of Doom took place before Raiders, which doesn't make sense. Oh, chronologically, did it? Really? I mean, technically, some of Last Crusade took place before Raiders as well, because they showed Indiana Jones as a kid. All right, last one. Here we go. Last book. So this, well, actually, I pulled it out before. This one I saw, I guess Frank didn't get to the like nice printout, but it said David Mazzucchelli art. And I was like, oh, I'm very familiar with this cover, and I've never seen the issue. So David Mazzucchelli is known for his Daredevil work with Frank Miller. Most of his most popular work is with Daredevil. Is with Frank Miller, his pairing up with Frank Miller. So he worked with Frank Miller on Daredevil, the story arc Born Again. Brilliant, amazing, timeless, so good. So good. Great story, great storytelling, great artwork. Then he worked on Batman Year One with Frank Miller. Amazing. Great artwork, great storytelling, great story. And I don't know if they worked on anything else together beyond that. I mean, they worked on the regular Daredevil series on a bunch of issues. But then after Year One, I'm not sure if they had another work together. And then Mazzucchelli fell off of working on mainstream books and started doing independent comics, which that's something I can pull out. Excuse me. This was a book that Mazzucchelli produced, and actually, maybe it's a good thing Shant's not on the stream. Shant is not a big fan of Mazzucchelli's work, and partially because Mazzucchelli, he took a class from Mazzucchelli at our school. Mazzucchelli went to the same school we did, but he graduated before we did. But I don't know what happened to him. I can't speak to what happened to him or whatever, but we got the feeling, and what I heard is got the feeling that like Mazzucchelli really hated mainstream comics after a certain while. That must have been after Year One, I'm assuming. And the irony is that he was really, really good at it and such a great storyteller. But he left and then started doing independent comics. And this was one he self-produced or self-published called Rubber Blanket. He did a few issues of this. This is not his stuff right here. This is a different artist. But his stuff here, one of the more famous stories he did was this one called Big Man. And it's just this kind of weird story about this very, very large man that washes up on shore, and the family that he stays with, and how he becomes like this freak, and people don't understand him, and so they want to kill him, hurt him, and it's about the family that stays with him. So it's this really weird, like, independent story, told well, but very different from the stuff he was doing in mainstream comics. But it's beautiful. I mean, it's a beautiful, well-told story. Sorry, my camera's a little cut off. So yeah, anyway, this is Mazzucchelli's work. But again, the irony is that he worked on some of the most legendary stories for a lot of the characters in particularly, well, Marvel and DC, for like Daredevil and Batman. Like that's no small feat that some of the stories he worked on are some of the like most memorable stories. Okay, let's see. Spectre, Voodoo Priest. Oh, yeah, we said that. Mandatory 2-year military service like Israel would make. I say that a lot. I'm like, because our generation, we don't have like a mandatory draft or like military service. Yeah, it kind of like makes us lose sight of, speaking of July 4th, of like how difficult it is or how many sacrifices were made for our country to be the way it is. Hey, K-pop, how are you? Good to see you. Welcome. We've just kind of gone through a bunch of stuff that I found. This is the last book I'll pull out for this Wednesday, but hope you are well. Private K-pop, Major Emo Lieutenant John Corporal Samurai. Nice. Are we a troop now? Sergeant Cran. Cranberry Langus says, "Oh, I remember Big Man. Good. Do you? Good. Yeah. It's I mean, it didn't get widespread distribution because he was kind of independently publishing it out himself, and because it wasn't mainstream. But I think Rubber Blanket, like, people were still like, oh, what's Mazzucchelli doing? He did another thing called Asteroid Polyps. He did a book on, do I have that on my shelf? Neon Lit, which was like kind of this noir story that he did, an independent noir story. I think he's just a masterful storyteller, but it's a shame that he's not doing mainstream stuff. Anyway, found this story that I had heard about with Angel, so this is great. This is the first time I've seen this story in person. I've just always heard about it, and I've seen images of the cover and knew that Mazzucchelli worked on it, but I've never seen the book itself. This seems like, let's see, what year is this? 1988. I think this is, when did Batman Year One come out? Batman Year One came out in 87. So this is after Batman Year One. So this is already kind of when he is finishing up his mainstream run. You can tell his style's kind of evolved. Like, he definitely had a more like traditional, sketchy, drawn style, and this is a little bit more graphic and simplified, which his later work got. That's cool. And this story, Craig Hamilton, penciler, Rick Bryant, inker, Chris Claremont, writer. I've never heard of this story at all, or this artist. It's kind of cool. Kind of weird. What's going on here, Storm? Oh, right. Maybe this is why I've never heard of this story. Definitely feels very 80s. This must be the same illustrator, Hamilton. It's like almost like a fashion magazine artist. Craig Hamilton. Yeah, I've never heard of the guy. Oh, is this Kent Anderson? Wow, that's cool. Namor, Elektra. Weird. Well, I'm definitely here for the Mazzucchelli story. That's cool. Marvel Fanfare was cool. I loved how it just did like little short stories, gave different artists chances to try different things out. There's not really any book that's like that now, that is like a compendium, or not even like an anthology. They do a little bit with like the Black, White, and Red series. They're kind of trying things out. But Marvel Fanfare was cool because it was just anything in the Marvel universe. Pretty cool. That was my back issue find today. Some randos in there. Angel. Yep. Trying to get my schedule sorted out for the next 4 months. Oh my goodness. You talking about your streaming schedule? I can't even imagine what that's like for you. You're nonstop. Like the layout. So when do Rocky reviews start again? Yes, John. You know, it's hard to say. My summers have been so choppy and like my schedule has been so crazy. Like it's really hard to cut away the time or what's the word I'm thinking about? Like just set aside the time like I used to be able to, of like, oh, okay, I'm going to record on this day at this time. Like it's just because everybody's schedule is so weird and different from week to week. So it has been a little bit hard for me to do that. But I've just been hanging on the streams because streams, you just kind of wing it on a Wednesday. So that's a good question, John. I do want to get back to it. To be honest, it seems like it was really cool to notice the last stream that I did, the unboxing stream that we did last week. That one got great engagement from people. That was my first stream that in less than 24 hours got over 100 views, which was great. That's a great milestone for me, at least. So the pre-recorded videos that I used to do didn't necessarily get that kind of engagement, although I still want to do them and like it. Just for the love of it and just the time to spend like dissecting a book and looking through the artwork and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not doing those anymore, but finding the time, that's been the challenge. But thank you for asking because I do want to get back to those and continue to do those. Also, one says K-pop got a stream set up with every creative person from old cartoon. Yeah, I know. You've got an incredible Rolodex of people, K-pop. So it's been so cool to see you have all these guests. And didn't you hit a milestone recently? You totally hit a milestone recently, I remember, because I commented on it. I just don't remember what milestone it was. Is it 5,000 subscribers? 1,000 subscribers? I don't remember. We are at 239, which is awesome. I'm very excited about that. On our way to 250. Who would have thought? 11 more subscribers. I got to keep posting. Every time I post a YouTube short, I'll usually get 1 or 2 subscribers. So I figure if I could just chip away at that and post 11 more YouTube shorts, I might hit 250. Live streams seem to get way more views. Yeah, I agree. And I think it's that connection, that engagement. Speaking of which, K-pop, you weren't here earlier, but I got a couple more sounds that we did for people. This is for John.
He goes, what's your name? He goes, John.
And then I did one for Mark's Music Obsession. So yeah, I'm chipping away at those and working on those. Those have been really fun. But it's stuff like that, I think that, and also that you guys can chat about stuff other than what I'm talking about. You guys can chat on the side and have your conversations. I think people really like that. You know, they love that community aspect. It's super important for YouTube. So that's probably why they get more engagement. So yeah, it's just a balance of figuring out what to do. I've constantly been telling you guys I want to get more people to interview. I reached out to a friend of mine. I won't call him out by name, but I reached out to a friend of mine who's a great independent comic book artist, and a different one from the other ones that I reached out to. And he was like, I don't want to hear my voice on stream. I don't want to see my face. Like, go ask this other person. He was giving me all these other names. I'm like, dude, no, you would be awesome. And your stuff needs to be seen. And it's so good. And I know he's reworking stuff right now on one of his independent books. But he's like, no. And he's just kind of hemming and hawing. But at the very end of our conversation, he was like, well, maybe just give me some time and da-da-da. So I think interviews are really great. People love seeing those, especially live ones are really great. So definitely want to do that. John says, as your sub count goes up, so will your views. You'll figure out what works best for you. Thank you. Yeah, just chipping away. We're just doing it, slowly building as we can do. Live stream comic reviews. Yeah, I can do them more in depth, like talk about less things and do them more in depth. Could, for sure. I do like sitting down and thinking about what I'm going to say. On a total tech weird YouTube side, some YouTubers use like a teleprompter. There are all these different gadgets you can get for teleprompting. And one of the challenges with recording pre-recorded videos is talking to the camera and not umming and like Cranberry Landers, you can relate to this, dude, because I know that you even commented on yourself, but like having it written out beforehand, because once you hit record and you start talking to the camera, you know, you forget things or you say things wrong and you go back, do it again, and then it becomes canned. And so it's less natural than a live stream. So I've been toying with the idea of like, oh, should I try getting like a teleprompter and seeing how that works and like writing it out? So I've seen people do that really well. A lot of professional reviewers do that well. Maybe that might be an option. Because when I do look back at some of my older pre-recorded videos, I'm like, ugh, I was like, the way you deliver that was so blando. Let's see. Emo Trash says, I derail and bring in the people. You're welcome. I'll take it. I love it. My chat was stuck on top and nothing was popping up. Congrats on 100 views, Rocky. Thank you. Yeah, it was great. I was just like, wow, that one got a lot. And I think you even commented Cranberry is probably because there were some beautiful women drawings that were in my thumbnail, possibly. Who knows? Awesome one, bringing back from the earlier in the chat. K-pop, do you eat bunnies? Oh, I thought she said yes, she does. Yes, thank you. I hit 500 and got my... Oh, awesome. Nice. That's so great. That's really great. I'm glad that happened for you. And you've been putting in the work, so congratulations. Yay, sounds. Adam Goodall and Cherish Psalms were sans wrenches. Oh, John, you instigator. I for sure, you know what? Cherish Psalms, Adam Goodall, the more I see you guys, it is clear possibility we can add wrenches for you. You guys add comments and stuff. We will totally do that for you. Let's make a deal. I see you guys next time. I will give you guys both a wrench. How about that? I was free with my wrenches at the beginning. I was like throwing them out at people left and right. Please, God, please be a wrench for me. But I also want to respect the people that have been coming quite a bit, coming regularly. But I'm so glad that I've seen you, that you guys are coming. So for sure, next time, let's do that. John will remind me for sure. K-pop Junkie says, like bunnies? Or is that a place? No, he means, do you eat bunnies? Like rabbits. I'm totally a sans wrench. You are, but not for long. Not for long, Cherish Psalms. I promise you. I've been accused of being a rabbit eater for only having the knowledge at first. Thank you. Feels amazing that people really like my content. It does, right? It's like you're doing something that people are enjoying and coming back for and value. So it's good. It's really good. You deserve it. That is exactly what goes through my mind every time I do this. So I can relate. Sean punking out. Oh, he did write back to me. Hang on. Sean wrote to me. He said he just assisted. I asked him if he designed the Godlike logo. He said, I just assisted. And he created the subtitle and fixed some stuff. And he said, John's a good dude. Group effort. So yeah, it seems like he just helped out, but John gave him credit for that. So that's awesome. That's really awesome. K-pop says, no, she does not eat bunnies. YouTube has been more wonky than usual for me too lately. Like today's? Today's was pretty crazy, Emo. She definitely took the reins of that one and said, I'm derailing this sucker. But then we had Adam Goodall come in here and like say like, hey, aren't we talking about comics? I was like, oh yeah, we are. I'm one more accusation away from fulfilling the accusations. If they taste thee, they ain't safe. Jesus literally said to kill and eat. I'm glad you're getting more comfortable here, emo trash. Oh my goodness. I have fallen asleep on other people's streams many times. That's when you turn off your camera. That's definitely when you gotta turn off the camera and just be audio. I've seen people like that, like switch off your camera and then somebody will ask them a question and there's no response and you're like, all right, they're asleep. Oh yeah, I and off in my public speaking taking went right out the window, got much worse. Well, it just takes practice, and I'm not calling you out for your ums and I do the same thing. I'm just saying, like, yeah, you know, it's hard. It's really hard to like get to the point and say it in a way that's engaging when it's pre-recorded. Who was in the thumbnail of this vid? Scarlett. This is from Scarlett number 2. So yeah. Money time now. K-pop can pay taxes. Yay, W9s and taxes. Give me the wrench the 4th time to make sure I'm loyal. You're giving your own limits. You're setting up your own limits. I appreciate that for sure. I will definitely, you know what? Here we go. Wait, I gotta find it on YouTube. Where are you? Just for that. Here you go, Cherish Psalms. You're welcome. Cherish Psalms is now a mod, everybody. Please congratulate her. Or her. I'm assuming her. Wrench someone names Ranch. Full circle. So many things come full circle on this chat. Even I received a wrench for sitting here and doing everything in my power to keep everything off track. Yep. The bar is low. The derailer in chief and the chat ninja both took wrenches as empowering. It's like the two halves of the Dark Crystal. One of my favorite movies. They gotta balance out. You need both. Can't have one can't have the other. You have to have both because they really balance the power. So, not that I'm saying you guys are on polar opposites, but you know, don't get down on yourself for YouTube views. They have been extremely wonky for months now. Go from 200 to 6, then 40, and never hit 100 for a while. It's weird. No, I'm not down on myself. I think I'm more like seeing the engagement and the people that I meet. I mean, sure, views are a gauge, but the people that I meet are, and seeing more people show up, like Cherish Psalms and Adam Goodall, like seeing these new people that I haven't seen before, like that to me is like, oh, awesome. And I know a lot of you guys, John in particular, you're inviting people here. So that's a great sign for me. I mean, that you wouldn't invite people to a crappy party, would you? I hope not. So yeah, it's great. I love it. I really love it. It's a huge part, and I'm sure all of you guys who do stream and do live stream in particular can attest to that. It's a big part of why we do it, because it's that community building is really fun. Oh my gosh, don't look up Bunny Rancher. Stop. Congrats, Cherish Psalms. You are playing that counter roll today to a T, Emo Trash. Oh my gosh. It's the wrenching. Crayon, I have wicked anxiety. I still do the stuff. It's actually why I started streaming 17 years ago. 17 years ago? Holy crow. That's a long time ago. That's crazy. You're a pro. I cannot believe this. Cherish Psalm says, welcome to the club. We'd like to call it the Mod Squad. Excuse me. Welcome to the Mod Squad. We're just going to roll them all out here.
goes, what's your name? He goes, John.
This is a cranberry full of power.
Slowly working our way up. That's kind of the joy of being a mod. Getting those, I don't know, just randomly do it. It's fun. We're all mods. We're all going to be putting each other. Yeah, that is the danger. I was joking with all of these guys very early on when I was just throwing wrenches out left and right. I'm just happy that people were showing up. That it would start sticking out more and more the people who weren't wrenched. Because if everybody was wrenched, then nobody was really special. But that's okay. It's all good. Weird. When you look up Bunny or Rabbit Rancher, you get no cute videos, but how to fit... Oh, boy. Slow growth is the best growth. I will say that, yeah, I feel like it's consistently like, growing and there's not huge drops. And I'm not big enough that I would even notice that. Like a huge drop for me would be one person unsubscribing. But yeah, just kind of seeing them like slowly grow the whole time is very rewarding, as opposed to watching it peak and then fall and peak and fall. Thanks, Emo. If the bar was set low with you, then I think I worked harder for this wrench. I'm not gonna even... There's one channel where the mods constantly time each other out. That's hilarious. I'm a YouTube streamer noob. Only started tubes last year. Oh, wait. Actually, I started streaming. What are you talking about? 17 years ago then? Was that a joke? Okay. Where were we streaming before you? Oh, was it before? Oh, here we go. Blog TV, you now. Whoa. I've only heard of Twitch. I don't even know any of those other ones. Oh. Do you like YouTube better than all those other ones? I've always wondered, like, Twitch is big for people playing video games, and I know people draw on Twitch streams too, but I didn't really know the difference between Twitch and YouTube. Like, what's the benefit on either? Guys with the bunnies. K-pop is your job PR for comedy? Yeah, it should be. Rocky, use the Chat Ninja soundbite wisely. We don't want people getting tired of such an amazing sound. Okay, gotcha. I did art streams. Slowly did comic book unbox. Okay. Psalms wants to not be blue. Of course I'm not blue. I'm the opposite of liberal. Okay, gosh. There's so many streaming sites. It's true. YouTube is fun. Twitch is really good for art streams. Got it. I was talking to Alan actually recently, Alan Lau, who has been in the chat, about Discord. And I know, John, you guys are in Discord. Emo Trash, you guys are in Discord. A lot of you guys are in Discord. I was like, should I start a Discord? I just feel like it's going to be another thing to manage. And I can barely manage my day. So I don't know. But the cool thing about it, and I was talking to Alan about it, the cool thing is like it's always there. It's always on, as opposed to YouTube is happening just when you hit go and then when you hit stop. That's it. So, yeah, I'm not sure. It's to be determined. And then I know I've mentioned to you guys possibly starting a Substack. If you guys are even into newsletters, a really good one I'd recommend is Declan Shalvey, who is the artist on... He was an artist on Moon Knight, and then he did his own book called Old Dog. I've talked about his stuff, his artwork, extensively on a past stream. And he's the writer on Thundercats, and he just announced, very awesome, he's doing a limited series for Marvel on Mystique. He's writing and drawing that series, but I bring him up because he comes out with a newsletter every 2 weeks, every other week, and he writes about what he's working on, different projects, even though he can name them by name, books that he's reading, and artwork process stuff. And he puts it all in his newsletter, and it comes out every 2 weeks, and it's really good. And then you can comment, and then he's usually fast to reply back anytime I've had comments before. So it's just another way of building up an audience, and not as engaged as streaming, but at the same time still keeping connected. I don't know, there's so many ways to do this, so many ways to build a community. So it's just a matter of picking a few, trying them out, seeing what clicks, and going with that. K-pop says, I do multi-stream to YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Okay, yeah, I do the YouTube and Twitter thing. Twitch I've not done. I don't know, maybe. YouTube and Discord is for social for me. Awesome. But Awesome One says I ignored Discord. Discord is fun, but you have to mute all the channels. Yeah, I kind of feel like that with I have dipped my toe in Discord before for work, and it just felt like like you're stepping in the middle of like Times Square, and it was just like constant memes and threads and all going at once. And but there is, yeah, like you're saying, there is a fun to it. I remember when I was starting off on any kind of internet stuff, it's before even emailing became big. They would have bulletin boards, and you would jump on bulletin boards and talk about nerdy stuff, and then you'd meet people that were like across the country, and it was such a novel thing. But that's kind of what Discord feels like, is like those old bulletin boards. Cranberry says he's on Discord but don't use it often. Awesome One says he gets overwhelmed by Katie's Discord. Okay. This site is from going on about the upside of ranching rabbits over cattle. So you know what? Your rabbit ranching allegations might come to fruition one day if I choose to live off the land. Oh, the site that you looked up. I started my Discord a few years ago. Emo. See, my brain's even trying to understand what you're saying. And I'm like, what am I doing? I started my Discord a few years ago, but had some life drama happen and I let it die. Just not ready to work on it. It's another thing to maintain. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. It's fun for draw-alongs, games, and movie nights. Oh. I guess I should just like sign up and try it out. Just lurk and see how it is. Then maybe I'll get some ideas. Draw-alongs. Games, I can see that. Movie nights, yeah, I can see that. I know Shant does a great movie night thing. Pizza Live. See, John, I'm not the only one who's not interested in Discord. Bulletin boards with DMs. Okay. Oh, okay. I get you. Because YouTube is a little bit more restrictive, especially art styles that you cannot stream on Twitch. All right. Excuse me. Someday you'll have to explain the legend of Razorback on the bulletin boards. Oh my goodness. There was a drawing board that was started by Shane Glines, who was a designer under Bruce Timm. Incredible designer, comic book artist also. Worked with Spumco, the Ren and Stimpy crew, and Batman the Animated Series. Super amazing designer. And he started a drawing board. I think it was called Shane's Drawing Board, right? I think, Alan? And you could start threads, and people would post up artwork that they liked and their own artwork and blah, blah, blah. Must be kind of what like Discord is. But then some friends of ours anonymously started a thread about the character Razorback. This is worth showing. Not the thread, but the character. He's a Marvel character, and his alter ego is Buford Hollis. The craziest design ever. Let me call this up. And so they basically, I can't even remember. I can't even remember the whole premise of how they did this, but it was like almost told like kind of seriously that gosh, sorry. I'm just looking at this character now. Okay, let me go live and then so this is the character Razorback. I mean, so they came up with this idea. Alan probably could fill in the details better than I, but they started this thread of people drawing their versions of Razorback. And at first it sounded like it was like, oh, what's this weird joke thing and why? But then all these artists started jumping in and drawing it. And so it started getting to be like really cool artists were jumping in because the level of talent kept climbing and people got more interested. And it just blew up into this whole thing. I don't even know who the top artists were that were drawing in this thread, but there were some heavy hitters. And it was all started on this dumb, anonymous kind of fake post. But it just became a thing. And then in our circles, like in our conversations, it would be like, oh my gosh, you know Razorback? And everybody had a different handle. So it'd be like, oh, you're like, you know, I don't know, like Cannonball 432. Like that was you. That was your drawing. I love that. And so it was just this in joke that just grew and grew and grew and grew. And it was incredible. It was really funny. So it was all on that stupid character design. I think even to the point where they would go to cons and get like professional artists to do their rendition of Razorback. Like you can get commissions and they'd say, oh, who do you want me to draw? Batman or Wolverine. You know, those are the kind of common requests. And then some friends of ours would go and like, can you draw Razorback? And they're like, okay. And then they do their version of Razorback and then it would get posted on the board. It was hilarious. And it went on for a while too. It's really crazy. Let's see. Oh, goodness. Hurricane in Virginia. Oh, goodness. Buford T. Justice. Mr. Monkey Boy's heard about it. Keep in mind, on the board up to that point was nothing but Batman and Catwoman drawings. Then Razorback. It was so good. I think I remember Razorback. So memorable. And then I even remember, I think we were pitching some stuff to Marvel Animation at one point, and we were trying to include Razorback in it just for the sake of like, you know, an homage to what was done on that board. Oh my gosh. See? The legend continues. I recall they got Mark Texiera to draw Razorback. Oh my gosh. He must have been like, all right, okay. Oh my gosh. Katie's Discord, it's saved there. John might be there. All right, awesome one. Drop the link for Katie's Discord. John dropped a link. What is this, John? Oh, something about a hurricane. He was silly. Razorback had the most lit hood. And then I think even there was some, I think they tried to do different characters. Like they added a couple more like crazy characters, whether they posed it as like sidekicks or whatever, but it never got the traction that Razorback did. But my gosh, Razorback, it was good times. But the fun thing about it was like just seeing everybody, at first it was a joke, right? But then seeing people trying to draw really cool Razorbacks, that was the awesome thing. And you had all these artists. They were both comic artists and animation artists trying to do really cool Razorback drawings. It was funny. No hurricane in Virginia, but definitely over the Caribbean. Yeah, I heard it was hitting Jamaica. Hurricane Barrel. That's right. Barreling down. All right, guys. This has been real. That was a bunch of comics. Oh, this was cool, too. Have you guys ever seen this? Comic Shop News. I got this at Blue Moon Comics. I hadn't seen one of these in a long time. But it's a little newsletter I love the format. And, you know, it's just little, like, it's actually kind of like glossy. Oh, this is a great series. We can talk about this another time. Friday. I have the first 2 volumes. Friday. It's kind of a young adult story, but a little darker. The artwork is amazing. Marcos Martin and the colorist Munza Vincenta. I think Italian colorists. Really good series. And they release it as a digital series first. The name of their company, Brubaker and Marcos Martin. I think there's a couple other guys. It's called Panel Syndicate. And they release this series digitally first, but then they print it and then they compile it and print it into these volumes. And so I saw that advertisement for the 3rd one coming out. I was really excited. If you like Nancy Drew meets like a horror story kind of feel to it. Like it's like a kid detective in a neighborhood, but it goes really dark. But yeah, I love this. And the cool thing about Comic Shop News is they would do like a comic strip inside. So this was like an advertisement for Rogue Trooper. I love it. I love this format. It's kind of neat. And then they just give it for free at comic book stores. But I haven't gotten at a local store here. I just got it at that store, Blue Moon. Anyways. Thanks, Rocky in chat. Oh, what Razorback? I was looking for something. All right. It's been real. Congratulations, Chair Psalms, our newest wrench. I don't think Adam is still in the chat, because otherwise it'd be unfair that I didn't wrench him. But next time, if he comes back again, that'll be awesome. Started off as a commenter saying like the stream, but couldn't make the live. Showed up today. Kudos to that dude. And then if he comes back next time, I'll totally wrench him. But all of you guys who are here, I think are already wrenched. So that's awesome. But thank you everyone for showing up. Mark's Music Obsession, who left already, was the first in chat. Check out his name in the credits. Awesome one. Alan Lau, John, Emo Trash, Derailer in Chief, Chat Ninja, Comrade Sammy, Mr. Monkey Boy 1969, Cherish Psalms, Cranberry Langers, as always. John, I already mentioned John. Awesome. K-Pop Junkie. What's up? Congratulations for her 500 subs. And Katie was here too. Katie, congratulations for being here. For eating a bunny. Anybody else? Did I miss anybody else? I think that's it. I said Alan now, right? And then texting with Sean, my buddy Sean. Go watch Sean's channels too. He's streaming like crazy on everybody else's channel but his own. But it was great talking with you guys. Great sharing the stuff today. Hope you have the good rest of your Wednesday. Have a good week. Have a happy 4th of July tomorrow. Celebrate the freedoms that we have in this country and the people that have sacrificed for them. And I'll see you next week, I think. Should be. Yeah. See you next week. Take care, everyone. Ciao.